says we're live now. Are we live? Is there anybody out there? This is such a screwed up way to start the show. Welcome in, everybody. Pugs Moran. This is the noon rant. Nah, not noon. It's 2. I used to call it that. I don't know what this is. I also don't know what's going on with the chat room here. All right, hold on. Test. There we go. Anybody here? Anybody here? This was a messed up day. Usually the shows start at noon, but today I had some things I have to do. And tomorrow I think it's going to be a noon start. Tomorrow will be a regular high noon show. There's Peter. There's somebody. There's one person. I don't know why I said Peter that way. That was very disrespectful, and I do apologize. All right, we got Peter in the chat room. We got Taronda in the chat room, and that's it. That's it right now. I don't know what happened. I don't know how this show didn't get scheduled. I'm sure there's a very easy way for me to determine if a show got scheduled or not, but I don't know how to do that. Well, how would I do that? Would I go to one of my sports bras are here? Hi, CC. How are you? Here's what we do. We talk about the day. We talk about this day. We go into some history of the day. We talk about people having birthdays. We talk about people who died and whether or not we think they went to heaven or hell. Then we also do the hot topics, current events, and lifestyle stuff. And sometimes we just gather together a bunch of dudes and chicks, and we just talk about the world. We just talk about whatever's on the top of our head, like this. I don't even know, early going in the show, I don't even know if I want to offer this observation. I had 2 observations last night that I was like, yeah, what's that about? Let me share the first one with you. Lightning. We all know about lightning. It shoots from the sky. It starts houses on fires. It kills people. It splits trees right in half. It's just these giant magical bolts of magic that are just in the sky, and just at any random minute, they can just hit us if we happen to be outside in the elements when the time is right. This is something that we all know about lightning, and we just go with it. We're just like, yeah, that's just a part of being human. That sometimes these magic bolts of electricity come flying out of the sky, and we're just okay with it. I don't get it. I really thought long and hard about lightning and how we shouldn't have lightning. There should be a way. Nobody in the thousands of years, but let's be honest, in the last 40 is when they'd probably have an idea. Nobody in the last 40 years has thought, how can we control lightning? How can we harvest and use to our advantage? Well, I know Ben Franklin. But anyway, I just think it's weird that we just it's going to be lightning outside, and there's a chance that we're going to get hit by lightning, and we just go about our business anyway. Like, well, that's the world. Just these magic things fly from the sky. But we don't believe in Bigfoot or UFOs or anything. But sure, we'll just accept that magic bolts of electricity fly from the sky, and we're just okay with that. It's like people who live in Wisconsin who have bears. I have a friend, I was talking to him on the phone like a year or so ago. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just sitting at the end of my driveway. I'm like, why are you sitting at the end of your driveway? And he's like, because there's a bear in my driveway. I'm like, you live in a place where there's a fucking bear in your driveway? And you just accept that as a reasonable thing? Like, for instance, you wake up, maybe your mind's a million other places. You're going to work, you're carrying your coffee, you got your backpack, you're walking to your driveway to get in your car, and you could be eaten by a bear? And that's just a part of your life. That's factored into the fucking mortgage? Well, I don't understand these people. So yeah, so lightning is now atop my list of things that I don't trust. I don't like bears. I don't like lightning. I don't like squirrels. All right, here's my other observation that I had. This one's a little bit weirder, but I'm going to have to give you some context on this one. So my dog is very horny. It bothers me. She doesn't even try to be horny with me anymore because I'm just like, you better get out of here. Like she gets a smack on the nose when she tries to get horny with me. It's weird. But she's horny. And I started thinking, why is she horny? This is instinct, right? And then I started thinking about us as humans, about being horny, right? What is being horny? Being horny is, again, something magic that nobody in science can explain. It's just something magic that ensures that the human species repopulates. We get horny, right? But then to ensure that we as humans keep this thing going, humanity, we get an orgasm. Like there's a transactional payoff in us, getting humanity moving forward by creating more. There is a transactional payoff. There is an orgasm Because at some point, like, I don't know what we're talking about. We're talking about God. We're talking about space aliens, whatever. They're up there. They're making these decisions for us. And they're like, how are we going to ensure that they want to get with each other? And somebody went like, well, let's make it feel really good for both. Which is another question. I've always wondered, is the female orgasm the same as the male orgasm? I know what the male orgasm feels like. I'm wondering, is it same? Is it better? Oh, we men wouldn't stand for that. Anyway, back to animals. You can see where my question is going. Do animals have orgasms? Think about that. Humans have orgasms so that there's a payoff for us because, you know, we're just that transactional. At our basic elements, we are that transactional. We are not going to proffer the species unless there's something in it for us. But do animals get orgasms? Because my dog was like going to town on a pillow. She was like going nuts on a pillow. And I took the pillow away from her. Like in mid, I'm horny. I took the pillow away from her and I put it up high so she couldn't get it because she would get that pillow. Put the pillow up high. And then you know what she did? She was like in mid pump. And then she just looked at me and went to sleep. And I'm like, there's no climax. You're not all like super horny and can't sleep now. So I started thinking, do dogs have orgasms? I don't know. All right. Those are the kind of things we do here on the Rant. I'll tell you, it's talk radio the way you won't hear on any AM stations. I don't do any corporate bullshit or carry water for any special interest. Every day for 3 years, I just get here and I talk to you. Byron says, get hit by lightning and I bet you come. I bet all kinds of crazy things happen when you get hit by lightning that never happened before. I bet you poop your pants. I bet you that happens. You ever seen like the stories that people get blown out of their gym shoes? How does that happen? What's that about? Let's go, he got hit by lightning. He was blown right out of his gym shoes. Or people get hit by a car. And they get hit by a car so hard they're thrown out of their gym shoes. How does that happen? That seems weird. Anyway, those are the things I talk about when I'm laying in bed. Byron said, or not Byron, but Sports Bras says, yep, I've seen it, unfortunately. Now, I think he's talking about animal orgasms. This is probably something I can Google, right? All right, let's just Google, do animals have orgasms? There had to have been some bullshit study on this at some point, right? Like they stick some like probes in their brain and then at the moment of climax, they measure like, the red spikes on the ground. I don't know, but I'm sure there's something smart people do. Oh, I put, do animals have in the first question because human beings are fucking idiots. The first question was souls. Of course they don't have souls. Only humans have souls. All right. Do animals have orgasms? How do you spell it? Orgasms. Seems like there should be a vowel in there. All right. Here's what Google says. Yes to the question of do animals have orgasms? While it's difficult to directly measure pleasure in animals, there's evidence suggesting that many, including primates, dolphins, and possibly other mammals, experience orgasms and derive pleasure from sexual activity. That answers nothing. I don't know what that is. That means nothing to me. Sports Bras. Cece says, I'll tell this story Sunday for Shock House. All right, there we go. One of the topics that we'll be covering this Sunday on another edition of Shock House Radio here from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios. We're going to learn about the time Cece saw an animal orgasm. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. So we've got that to look forward to. All right, how about this? How about last night? Last night was a big trivia night. We had fun. We went out to the back nine, Beltline Road, 4060 Beltline Road. We're out there every Tuesday night. We do trash trivia. It's just, I work very hard all week and I come up with questions that, man, I don't know. I'm threading a needle here. Like, because I'm really good at trivia and I'm hosting and I'm coming up with the questions on my own. And, what I think is an easy trivia question is maybe not easy for like regular people sitting around in a bar eating some delicious wings and pizza and having a couple of beers. They don't need to be accosted with, who was the original record producer of the Beatles before George Martin, right? They don't need that. They don't need that, right? Those are like high-level questions. So I struggle with questions. I want to give you some of the questions that we did yesterday. And by the way, I want to thank last night Bill Falk. Bill is once again the king of trivia. There was a tag team of Erica and Paul who really came hard for Bill. Bill did not sweep all 3 rounds. Bill won the first round. Bill did not win the second round. Bill did terrible in the second round. Bill did really bad in the second round. Third round, Bill almost swept the whole category. So there you go. So Bill came, he won the first round, he won the third round, therefore he was the winner of the night. He took home some cool, I don't know, some gift cards for the next time he comes to, he's won gift cards every week, so he should theoretically not be paying for anything when he comes. He should be able to just use the gift card that he won the previous week for the next week. Also, a big bag of gummies, big bag of weed gummies from Sacred Oils. So thank you to Bill for coming out. Also, thank you to April. Look at us. We got April out there, too. April and Bill, they should have played together as a team. April didn't do well. That bugs me because I love April. April's one of the 30th 15. April got a lot of questions. April got a bunch of questions that were difficult that I didn't think some people were going to get. But then she missed, there are a couple of questions that I put out there as 50-50s so that people will feel like they want to play. Like it'll be a yes or no question or, something like that. So here's a question that I asked yesterday. And I'm not saying April got it wrong, but I'm saying a lot of people got it wrong. And it was weird. It was a simple yes or no question. Do identical twins have identical fingerprints? It's a simple yes or no question. Do identical twins have identical fingerprints? You have no idea how many people got that wrong. Of course they don't have identical fingerprints. Everybody's fingerprint is different. Do you know how many twins would be in jail for shit that their stupid twin brother did or twin sister? No, twins are... Anyway, people didn't get that. You want to know another one? Here's another question that I think only 1 or 2 people got. This is how simple this was. In a room full of people in Dallas, I just said, who's the mayor of Dallas? Only 2 people. Only 2 people knew it was Eric Johnson. Eric Johnson. There you go. Anyway, it was a fun night. We had a good time. We had food. There was food there because it's a bar restaurant. They have food. So we had food. We had fun. We asked questions. Let me see. What are some of the other questions? I'll give you a couple of the other questions. Do I want to do I'll do rock and roll trivia classic edition? No. How about no celebrity couples maybe? Here was one that absolutely nobody got. Nobody got this. I'm like, how does nobody get this? I said the category was celebrity couples. The question was Kristen Bell and Dak Shepard are very popular, but name the extremely popular podcast hosted by Dak Shepard. That was I thought an easy question. It's like one of the top podcasts in the world. I guess nobody at Trivia listens to podcasts. Armchair expert. Armchair expert is the answer I was looking for. What else? What are some other questions I asked? I asked in 2024, what was the #1 best-selling car in the United States? Nobody got this right, but everybody, when I read the answer, went, oh, yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of those fucking things. You see them everywhere. #1 selling car in the United States in 2024 was the Toyota RAV4. Boop, boop. Narrowly beating out the Ford F-150. All right, those are the kinds of things that we do out there on trivia nights every Tuesday at the Back Nine. Come one, come all. Now, there was a chance that I was going to be going out to the Fort Worth area. We'll call it the Fort Worth area because I'm not entirely sure where it is. But we were supposed to be going out there tonight so that we could check out a place that we were potentially going to be doing another edition of Trash Trivia. Hold on, gotta fix that. But here's the thing. I may not be going tonight. And here's why. Your boy might be going to the Mavericks game. Woo! Let's go! Why is that a big deal? Because most people are like, Mavericks, really? They traded Luka. Why would we want to go? Because it's the Luka day. Luka's coming back. Luka's coming back for the very first time. It's going to be a scene, y'all. It's going to be fun. It's going to be, I don't know if I'm going. I hope I'm going. Here's the deal with me going. Dude's got an extra ticket. Maybe. Depends on if this dude that he works with is actually going to go or not. They don't know if they're going, and he's going to let me know after 5. And since I'm close, since I'm down here, I'm just half a block away from the stadium. I'm like, dude, you just let me know and I'll walk on over. So that's what my life is right now. sitting here waiting to find out if I get to go to see Luca's homecoming tonight. Here's the other thing. It's a box. It's a suite. It's the only way to go. That's not true. I would go tonight if it was like up in the 300 section. I would go tonight if it was up in the 600 section, which I think is a helicopter hovering above the venue. All right. Peter says that would be awesome to go to the Mavs game tonight. Yeah, I haven't been to a Mavs game no, I went to one last year, so I guess I did go to one last year. All right, that's going to do it. Anyway, what do you say we get started with today's show? Thank you to the folks who came out and played trivia last night. We had a great time. Bill Folk is your 3-time reigning champion of trash trivia. Not a single person has been able to beat him. April was out there being awesome. Let me tell you something about April. Here's what's awesome about April. I don't think she knows how not to smile. Every time I see her, she's smiling. She's got a big smile. She's just always bringing this like super happy, super charming, awesome energy. And it was good. And it kind of offset with Bill. Because, they were two people from the chat room who knew each other, kind of offset with Bill. Because Bill's a very serious dude. Very serious. Although also, I think Bill has a tendency to be a little bit sly and witty with his, ways. But, a little bit less. And April was a little bit of a big energy ball. I like April. All right. Oh, there she is. Look, she's in the chat room. I didn't see her today. She was in the other chat. The other chat. Why is there another chat? See, this is what I don't understand. Why is there another chat? What is going on with this show? Is there like a whole nother me doing another show? So weird. All right, let's get started, folks. It is the 9th day of April, and welcome to the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, here in the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery. It is, as I said, the 9th day of April. Did you know? 99th day of the year. Tomorrow's 100. Ooh, let's prepare for that celebration. There are 266 days remaining until the end of the year. What do you say we get started with our first segment? We like to take a look at all the history that happened on this day. We call it antecedently on this day, but really it's just this day in history. Don't be pushed off by the name. Here we go. On this day, antecedently in the year 1682, Robert Cavelier de La Salle discovers the mouth of the Mississippi River, claims it for France, and names it Louisiana. So what is that? Like the port of Orleans or whatever? What is it down there? Is that the mouth? What are the two things of a river? Because I would almost think that the mouth is like where it starts. Do you know the Mississippi starts at just some little lake in Minnesota? Just some little stupid lake in Minnesota. And then from that little stupid lake in Minnesota, you get the Mississippi River. On this day in 1860, on his phonograph machine. All right, the phonograph. I think that's an app now. I have that app. On his phonograph machine, on this day in 1860, Edward Leon Scott de Mantonville makes the first known recording of an audible human voice. Hey, look at that. Look at that. It was called a phonograph machine. Antecedently on this day in 1865, during the American Civil War, Robert E. Lee surrenders the Army of Northern Virginia to Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox, effectively ending the United States Civil War. Antecedently on this day in the year 1947, the Journey of Reconciliation, the first interracial freedom rides, begin through the Upper South in violation of Jim Crow laws. All right. Wrap your mind around this, people of 2025. So back in 1947, it was illegal to travel around the South with people in the car that wasn't the same color as you. Like if you were in a car with a black person, you were breaking the law. What was the point of that? Jim Crow, they had a bunch of dick laws. Just see, humans are just naturally, with the absence of love and kindness and decency and thoughtful consideration by those around them, in the absence of all of that, people just become assholes. Human default is just, I'm scared of you because you could take my air or whatever the fuck. Ugh. It was illegal to ride in a car with a black person. Anyway, 1947, people started challenging that. And I bet your grandparents or your great-grandparents were like, damn G's from New York coming down here challenging the way we don't want blacks and whites riding in cars. Ugh. People made bad decisions. Humans are just bad people. Antecedently on this day in the year 1959, Project Mercury. NASA announces the selection of the Mercury 7. The Mercury 7 astronauts. These are my guys. All right, so who are the Mercury 7? All right, here you go. Here are the Mercury 7. You got Scott Carpenter. We'll call him Carp. You got Gordon Cooper. We'll call him Coop. How about John Glenn? How about Senator John Glenn? That man deserved to be president. How about Gus Grissom? Yeah, Gus, we forgive you. I know you popped the hatch, but we forgive you. Wally Schirra, Alan Shepard, and of course, the sad story of Deke Slayton. Deke should have been an astronaut. Instead, he had a heart murmur, and he wasn't allowed to be. But Deke Slayton became the boss of the astronaut office, which was a big deal back then. All right. I'm done geeking out. No, you know what? I'm not done geeking out. Look at these sons of bitches. Look at these spacemen. You want to talk about rock stars? You think some K-pop band is hot right now? You have no idea how big of celebrities these 7 dudes were on this day back in what year? What year was it? Back in 1959. Look at them glorious sons of bitches in those absolutely ludicrous outfits. Those are stupid spacey uniforms. I don't know why they're silver. They're silver. But anyway, that's what we had. Welcome to the world, Project Mercury and the Mercury 7. Antecedently on this day in the year 1992, a federal court finds former Panamanian dictator Manuel Pineapple Face Noriega guilty of drug and racketeering charges, sentenced to 30 years in prison. I think he died in prison, didn't he? He shanked. How did he die? Getting him confused with Dahmer. Dahmer got knifed. Dahmer got shanked. I don't know. Pineapple Face probably just died of pineapple face disease. All right, I think that's going to do it. Yeah, that's it. All right, no more. Antecedently on this day is done. Let's talk about birthdays. These are people celebrating their birthdays today. Boom, get out of there. People celebrating birthdays today. Now, I don't know if for certain these are their days of birth, but, it's published reports, so let's go with it. Born on this day in 1926, Hugh Hefner. American publisher, founder, Playboy Enterprises. I like you. All right, moving on. Born on this day in 1953. Oh, this son of a bitch. I don't even know why we're talking about him. Well, he's famous. Stephen Paddock. Stephen Paddock. Remember this guy, American mass murderer? Responsible for the Las Vegas shooting. Remember, he held up in the very same hotel room that me and my ex-wife, my son's mother, used for our wedding, and he just killed a bunch of people. Screw that guy. Yeah, same hotel room that I was in. I stayed in that same room, and I noticed it because when the shootings were happening, when all the stories were coming out and everything, I opened up an old wedding album and I started looking at pictures that we took from our hotel room. I'm like, man, that's got to be like. And it turns out he's staying in one of the bridal suites because he wanted, the big fancy room. So anyway. All right, Stephen Paddock, screw him. Born on this day in 1953. Born on this day in 1954. How about a tremendously wonderful mid-range acting talent? All right? Mid-range. He's not a superstar, but he's done a lot of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I like that guy. I really like his kid, his son. I really like. Happy birthday. Born on this day in 1954. Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid, American actor. What is Dennis Quaid? Dennis Quaid's a good actor. He's been in some good movies, right? He's kind of just like Kurt Russell. It was like, okay, is that Kurt Russell or Dennis Quaid? They're kind of like the same guy, clones. I don't want to get into my whole clone theory, but you people who've been with me for a while, you know where that goes. So, but he's never really, right? Dennis Quaid is never, there's never been, and the nominees for Best Actor, Dennis Quaid has never done anything really good. He's done movies that we all like. And we're like, yeah, that was a good movie, but, nothing like, you got to see the latest Dennis Quaid movie. And he's kind of mid-tier. All right, let's do a Dennis Quaid draft just to see how mid-tier he actually is. Dennis Quaid. We're going to do this the way the NFL utilizes their yearly draft. We look at all of Dennis Quaid's films as if they were kids coming out of college, and we draft them accordingly, according to who we think will be the best. The number one pick in the Dennis Quaid draft is a movie that I just referenced. That's right. The Right Stuff. The Right Stuff, where Dennis Quaid played one of the Mercury Seven, which was formed on this day in 1959. Dennis Quaid played Gordo Cooper. That's number one. Number one in my Dennis Quaid draft. Number two, Great Balls of Fire, Jerry Lee Lewis. He was fun in that. That's a good one. Winona Ryder, Jerry Lee Lewis, Dennis Quaid. Good movie, good movie. All right, number three in the Dennis Quaid draft. Here's a movie I don't know if anybody ever saw. It was pretty good, though. I remember seeing it when I was in high school and thinking, that's a good movie. It's a football movie. It's called Everybody's All-American. I think it concerns, it's set in the 1950s at LSU, and they play college football at LSU, and it's Dennis Quaid and John Goodman, and it's a good movie. Number three off my board is Everybody's All-American in the Dennis Quaid draft. Number four, Any Given Sunday. I love that movie. I can't believe my kid won't watch Every Given Sunday with me. My kid is like a movie, like he's a football nut, and he likes good movies, and I would think he would like football movies. I've made him watch Rudy so many times that I think he's afraid that every football movie that I put on him is going to be another Rudy, and I don't know. Any Given Sunday. Number four in my Dennis Quaid draft. Number five is going to be Traffic. Traffic is probably the best film he's ever been associated with. Traffic. There you go. Your Dennis Quaid draft on this his birthday. Dennis Quaid born on this day in 1954. Number one, The Right Stuff. Number two, Great Balls of Fire. Number three, Everybody's All-American. Number four, Any Given Sunday. Number five, Traffic. Born on this day in 1966, Cynthia Nixon. Would you? She wouldn't have us dudes anyway, right? Cynthia Nixon. She's a lesbian. Here's a good question to my dudes out there. I never watched Sex and the City. I think she's from Sex and the City. Hold on, I gotta see. Is she the really hot one? No, she's not. She's like the least hot of the Sex and the City ladies. And that's quite, you know what? She may not be. I think Sarah Jessica Parker is the least hot because she's just got that. Yeah, I would rather do the short-haired lesbian. I'd rather be in a relationship with the short-haired lesbian Cynthia Nixon on her birthday than Sarah Jessica Parker. I've spoken. Here's the question. Would I rather be in a relationship with Cynthia Nixon, who is a lesbian, who's not unattractive, but you know, when I think about her, she's not attractive. She's attractive. She's cute. Would I rather be in a relationship with Sex and the City's lesbian Cynthia Nixon, or born on this day in 1974, super gross porn star Jenna Jameson? There was probably a 6-month window back in the mid-90s where I'd be like, yeah, Jenna Jameson's hot. And then, like, she just immediately went gross. Once interviewed Jenna Jameson. They brought her into our studio, and we were going to just have a conversation with her, but we couldn't even have a lucid... Look, I need to say, first of all, a lot of porn stars, I've interviewed a lot of porn stars, and a lot of them are really articulate, normal, fun people to talk to. You just have a great interview with them. They're fun. They're open. Then there's Jenna Jameson, who was an absolute train wreck. Slurring her words. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. She's already fucked up. Yeah, Jenna Jameson, man. She made some bad choices. All right. World's most famous porn star, right? Wasn't she like the world's most famous porn star at some point? Jenna Jameson, born on this day in 1974. She's 51. Does that make her 51? Yeah. Born on this day in 1982, Jay Baruchel. Jay Baruchel is a Canadian actor. I love this guy. I don't know if you know who he is. Here, I'm going to show you who Jay Baruchel is because you should know who he is. He's terrific. I fell in love with him initially as, who did he play? He played I can't remember his name. You guys, any of you dudes into How I Trained My Dragon or How to Train Your Dragon? It was an animated show. When my kid was very little, we used to watch that movie, How to Train Your Dragon. And of course, the lead dude who was trying to train his dragon is Jay Baruchel. Jay Baruchel also was in a brilliant situation comedy that only lasted for about 3 seasons. It was on FXX. I don't know if you remember FXX. It's probably still a thing. I don't know. Now you can find it on Hulu. It's a situation comedy from what's his name? Frank Rich's kid. Frank Rich of the New York Times and the New Yorker and all that fancy stuff. His kid is a Saturday Night Live writer who then created this show for FXS starring Jay Baruchel and Eric Andre called Man Seeking Woman. That's what it is. Man Seeking Woman. It's hysterical. It is so funny. And it's got so many great cameos from big name, funny, well-known comedians. All right. Happy birthday, Jay Baruchel. You may not know who he is, but he's doing fine. He's got How to Train Your Dragon money. He's really close friends with Seth Rogen. They like grew up together. He was in, you ever seen that movie, the Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg movie about the end of the world? Something like the end as we know it, the end is near, the end is now, the end is, hey, I don't know, whatever. So funny. Such a funny movie. He's one of the stars of that. All right. Happy birthday, Jay Baruchel, born on this day in 1982. Born on this day in 1990, Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart, of course, we all know Kristen Stewart from the vampire movies. She's the Twilight girl. That was the first time we ever saw her. She's done a whole bunch of stuff since then. And guess what? I think I kind of like her. Oh, my God. She's just got this bitch energy that I'm drawn to. She's got this sort of like mopey, don't even talk to me. I'm going to give you bad energy. Oh, she's got that. Here's why I'm attracted to that. I talk to this all the time. I like the bitch. Like if I see a girl at a bar who looks like she is giving off vibes that she does not want to be approached, I want to go try and make that chick smile. I want to go try and make her laugh. And I can do it because there's no chance of me trying to hook up with her because I don't look like I'm trying to hook up with her. I look like a, dude. Anyway, I like bitches. I like making bitches laugh. I like breaking the bitch. I like breaking the cold exterior. And I think that I could break our birthday girl, Kristen Stewart, born on this day in 1990. Born on this day in 1998. This upset me. When I think of this person, I think of a child because they were born in 1998. But let's be honest, that means that they're 27 years old. They're almost 30 years old now. Okay, they're not a child. It's a fully grown woman. I'm allowed to look at her now and go, that's a fine looking woman. And she upset me because out of nowhere, I was accosted with, oh my God, she grew up and she's a fine looking woman. And of course, I'm talking about a birthday girl born on this day in 1998, Elle Fanning. Elle Fanning. Isn't she even younger than Dakota? Remember Dakota Fanning and Elle Fanning? They were sisters. I don't know. But anyway, Elle Fanning, if you haven't seen A Complete Unknown, she plays Bob Dylan's girlfriend in A Complete Unknown. First of all, she's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful young woman. Secondly, she's really good. She was really Elle Fanning, having a birthday today, 1998. Born on this day in 1999, Little Nas X. Who? Huge star like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Now I'm sitting here going, Little Nas X. Who? That's what's known as a fad. All right, 1 category. 2 categories are down. Now let's move into the 3rd category. We call this the deads. These are people who died on this day. We open up their life's resume and decide where do we think they went. They go to heaven or hell. All right, how about this guy? Dead on this day in 1926. Zip the Pinhead. Of course we got to look at this guy. Zip the Pinhead. Let's see who this is. He was a freak show star of his time. Zip the Pinhead. All right, let's see what he looked like. We used to do this thing in this country where we would take all of our community's fucked up people and we put them in a traveling freak show, and they had a life, they had a purpose, and people thought it was really mean, but I don't think they thought it was mean until the 1980s, and then suddenly we can't have freak shows anymore. But whatever. Hey, here you go. This is going to be this is Zip the Pinhead. He died on this day. Look at him. Yeah, we know him. We know him from the Guinness Book of Records. I don't know what. Can I have remember we used to see this guy in the Guinness Book of Records when we were kids? Remember being kids when the Guinness Book of World Records and the Book of Lists were that's all we had. That was our Wikipedia back then. Guinness Book of World Records and lists. All right, so here's Zip the Pinhead. He died on this day. Not even entirely sure what year. Hold on, let's see, what year did Zip the Pinhead die? All right, 1926. Here he is, Zip the Pinhead. Why is he dressed like that? I guess, are they maximizing the weirdness? Because honestly, if you just put a baseball cap on this guy and put him in men's clothing, he would just look an ugly dude. He'd just be like an ugly guy. But why is his hair like that? Why did they make his hair? He's going to heaven, right? We can all agree. Anybody who was forced to be zipped the pinhead while living and experiencing this plane of existence is probably going to be rewarded. I think so. All right. Zip the pinhead, American Freak Show star. Bring the Freak Show back. Bring the Freak Show back. But these people don't deserve to make money. If these people can make, it's called making lemonade out of lemons. It's called being born a pinhead and then figuring out a way to exploit this so that you can make some money. But no, all the Adam Rainas of the world came out and said, you can't put pinheads in cages anymore. And we're like, why? Pinhead's got a wife and kids to feed. What, we're not allowed to give him a job? Can't throw midgets? What, midgets don't want to make an extra $100 getting thrown around Duke's Original Roadhouse? Wow. People thinking they're doing stuff to help other people. They ain't. All right. Dead on this day in 1926, Zip the Pinhead. Dead on this day in heaven. Put him in heaven. Dead on this day in 1959, Frank Lloyd Wright. I don't know if Frank Lloyd Wright is actually famous or if he's just famous because where I live, there's a whole lot of Frank Lloyd Wright houses. And every couple of years, your friend will sell their house and their parents will make like $15 million off of a $300,000 house because it turns out it was a Frank Lloyd Wright. Yeah, that's a thing that happens in the Chicago area every now and again. People will just like sell their house and then it'll turn out to be a house that Frank Lloyd Wright worked on for like a day. And then suddenly they can charge like so much more. But is he just famous for his Midwest stuff? Because he built a lot of stuff. Or is he like famous everywhere else? I don't know, whatever. I like his shit. I like his cool ass houses with the flat roofs and the boxes in the windows. I kind of like it. So we're putting him in heaven. There you go. Frank Lloyd Wright. I think he's the most famous architect in American history, but I'm from a place where he built things. So maybe I'm just biased. Maybe I just heard about him more. I don't know. We're going to heaven. Dead on this day in 2021, Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh. This was, of course, the husband of Queen Elizabeth. Man, I can't believe when we started doing this show, all them many years ago, when we started doing this show, we had both a Queen Elizabeth and a Prince Philip. They were still around, and now neither. That's a testament to the staying power of this show. Prince Philip, he's going to hell. Put him in hell. He was an asshole. Prince Philip was a total asshole from the moment he was born. From the moment he was born, he was an asshole. He was born like the Prince of Greece. And World War II came, and they kicked out the monarchy, and he had to run into exile. But what is running into exile when you're the royal family of Greece? I don't know. You grow up in like a super expensive hotel in the middle of downtown London. Trust me, they got out of the country. His family got out of the country with all that money. They're fine. And he marries Princess Elizabeth. And then he goes on like a 70-year joyride where he's just her arm candy. But he was a dick. He was a jerk. Prince Philip going to hell. You're doing hard labor in the afterlife, brother. You had such a coast of a life. No responsibility. You're just married to the Queen of England. You got nothing. Prince Philip, dead on this day in 2021. Dead on this day also in 2021. Far more important in my life than Prince Philip. How about DMX? I know he's probably got a bad history, but DMX was so funny, man. DMX was funny. Yeah, I like him. And the pit bulls and the crotch rockets and just all these bad sort of urban stereotypes that he populated. All right, I'm putting DMX in heaven. I like him. Dead on this day in 2022, how about Dwayne Haskins? Remember him? Football player, quarterback, Ohio State, was down there in training camp with the Steelers, walked across the street after training and got hit by a truck. I'm putting Dwayne Haskins in heaven. That's a terrible thing. That is a terrible, terrible thing. All right, guys, that's going to do it. I do want to remind you, though, this show runs on your gratuities and your tips. If you like this kind of talk radio every day since 2021, regular talk for normal people. We ain't crazy right. We ain't crazy left. We're what I like to say. We occupy that 70% in the middle. The 70% of Americans who are left, 15 on the right are nuts, 15 on the left are nuts. That leaves 70% of us left in the middle. We can do business together. We are the people that will save this country. So let's move forward. And if you want to help support the show, there you go. Venmo and Cash App. That's how we do it. Hold on. I didn't have my phone handy. And, I might be going to the Luca game, so I need to make sure that I have my phone handy when people try to reach out to me. All right, very good. Here we go. All right, first story that we're going to be talking about here. Stocks. All right, so let's go to the Dow Jones. Let's see where we are now. I've been monitoring this all day. Let's see where we are. Where is the Dow Jones at? Woohoo! We're in the green, bitches, and we're back over 40. That's right, $40,519 in new money made today. The Dow is up 2,800 points. Oh, look, everybody, if we're going to pearl clutch when it goes down that much, you got to at least point out, here we go. Long story short, none of it means anything. This is called chaos. This is called unpredictable whatever. So this morning started out in the positive by about 9:15. I want to say the Dow Jones was at plus 150. You're looking at that. You're like, okay, stabilizing. Very good. Very good. Go Team America and all that stuff. Then it started to get a little volatile. And then it started dropping. Then it dropped down by like 11 o'clock to 300, minus 300. And then it started to come back up. And then it got over. It got over the green right about noon. And then there was the big tariffs announcement. The big tariffs, we'll get to that next. And the Dow Jones has been rallying. It has been surging since 1 o'clock, since the Trump administration. Well, damn, I don't even know what word to choose here because, I guess I'll just say that the Trump administration announced a 90-day pause on the extreme tariffs to everybody in the world except for China. China, he increased the tariffs from yesterday, which was 104% increase. He increased it on China to 125 today. So he's paused all the tariffs on the European Union, on all these places that he's supposed to be negotiating with and all this. This is chaos. I have no idea what any of this means. And there are a whole bunch of people out there who are going to try and convince you that they do know what all of this means. I don't think that's the case. I think people are just, oh, sorry. Thought we had a problem. Here, let me just get into this. All right, let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk about China now, what China has done, okay? So again, the big announcement that caused the stock market to absolutely surge in the last couple of hours is that the Trump administration has announced that they will create a 90-day pause on all tariffs previously announced for every country except for China. Okay, China is the only one. China, their tariff rate had been raised to 104% 24 hours ago. Now, upon announcing the pause in tariffs to every other country, Trump said, oh, yeah, there's one more thing. We're now going to even do China more. So now China's up to 124% rate. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know how to explain what that all means. I think we all understand it in an incredibly rudimentary way, but, none of us are economists. So some people are saying, right now he backed down, he caved, he has no plan. He's all over there's a lot of people saying that. Then there's a lot of people on the other side that are saying, this was all part of the art of the deal, baby. So I don't know. And we don't know. And we won't know. And I keep saying, we're not going to know what any of this looks like until we're a couple of months out. So I keep throwing this mythical date of June 1st. Let's look at what the American economy is doing in June 1st before we decide whether or not he's a fucking genius or a monster who didn't know what he was doing. It'll be June 1st. Because honestly, if he does have a plan and he's making like he's got a plan, but everybody else is like, he's got no plan. If he's got a plan, he won an election. He didn't lie about any of this. He said he was going to do all of this, and we elected this. So, shut the fuck up. Sorry. Here's what I don't understand, though. I don't understand why we had to lose trillions and trillions of dollars from the American family, which is essentially small business, American family, American investors. They lost something like $7 trillion over the last 4 days. They don't get that. See, that's not how the stock market, when they go to zero, they don't just like, I'm going to sit here. That's not all that wealth was lost. That's the only thing that I don't understand. Like, that was incredibly reckless. China, for their part, China has now announced retaliatory tariffs because of the 104% increase announced by us yesterday, and now 124% increase announced by us. Europe this morning, the European Union, they're brokering deals amongst themselves to essentially cut us out. And I think it was Spain who announced that they've formed a new alliance with China to handle this whole tariff thing. So those are some of the things that the other countries who have been affected, those are some of the things that they've done. Hours after this European thing where the European countries said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Hours after they did that, all of the other tariffs were paused. So I don't know if that was an effect. There are certainly people on the left who don't like Trump, who are telling you that Trump just got brought to his knees by the Europeans after one meeting. And okay, if we're going to say that, yeah, he's caving because, he flinched or he blinked. Okay. But also you still got to say, maybe he's got a plan. Maybe that was part of the plan. I don't know. And I'm not trying to play this both ways. What I'm trying to do is be as honest a broker about all this as possible. None of us are apex stock traders. None of us. There's like 30 of us here. None of us. And serious, if any of you are and you haven't fucking tipped this show like $1,000 at least once, fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. No, we're all regular people. China has announced that it will impose now a 90% levy on all U.S. goods starting Thursday. This comes after U.S. tariffs of 104%, now 124%, on Chinese imports took effect shortly after midnight. The European Union this is the deal I was telling you about, what the European Union did today. The European Union has also approved its first set of tariffs on the U.S. Set to start on April the 15th. What do we get from Europe? I know we get everything from Asia. I know we get everything from China. And I know we get a lot of stuff from like South America and Central America. Slave nations. We get all of our consumable goods from those kinds of people. We don't have any moral objections to it because we like low prices and Walmart is fucking great. So that's what we do. What do we get from Europe? What are we tariffing Porsches? Okay, I don't care. What do we get from Europe? We don't buy, there are no affordable European cars. It's not like we buy Hondas and Japanese and Toyotas from Europe. Every car they import to us is some stupid rich person car. What else do we get? Wine? Oh, fuck off with that. California makes great wine. We can live without your wine. I don't understand what Europe actually gives us. But also, I am open to the idea that I'm fucking stupid and that just because I don't understand what they give us, that just means that I'm ignorant to what Europe actually gives us. I don't know. Personally, I would think that if I had anything in my house that was like from Europe, I'd be like, oh, getting fancy. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like this is European cheese. That sounds like it would be more expensive. So I don't deal with any European products. China, everything comes from China. Hell, I was looking at this the other day. I've got strawberry jelly. I got strawberry jelly in my refrigerator that's from Egypt. What the fuck is Egyptians doing making jelly? It's like some store brand jelly that I bought. And I look at the back and it says, well, this is a product of Egypt. I'm like, what? We can't make strawberry jelly here? Well, we could, but it would be $7 a jar. We like cheap stuff. So I don't know, man. China's going to be the one that's going to hurt the everyday American. Just give that a couple of weeks. Let's see how that shakes out after Everything at Walmart is now like $3-4 more. It's not going to be fun. United States tariffs on imports from other countries also took effect. Canada reconfirmed on Tuesday plans to put into effect 25% retaliatory tariffs on United States-made vehicles. I don't know what any of this means. I didn't even know we still made vehicles here. I mean, I know we do. There's a giant GM plant in Arlington. But my point is, not like we did in 75, right? This includes vehicles that aren't compliant with the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, in addition to non-Canadian and non-Mexican content of the... I don't fucking care. All right, whatever. Here we go. We're in trouble there. Let's see, what is this? China. Now we don't need to get any more China. All right, let's move on. Here's another story that I want to mention that's popping up today. What's going on with Iran? Do we now have to look at Iran? All right, so we're going to have nothing cheap from Walmart anymore because of the whole China thing. But now apparently we're like doing the biggest buildup of bombers off the coast of Iran that we've ever seen in the world. We're getting ready to bomb Iran. We got war hawks out there. We got war hawks out there talking about how we're going to be in a full-fledged war with Iran by this weekend. What? To do what? To distract us from the tanking stock market? What? I'm not a QAnon guy, but what the fuck are we all of the... Now is not the time, okay? We're dealing with other things in this country. Pentagon prepares for Trump to go berserk on Iran. Oh, boy. Unprecedented number of B-2 bombers have been amassed for a proposed Iran strike. In the largest single deployment of stealth bombers in U.S. history, the Pentagon has sent 6 B-2 Spirit aircraft to Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. The long-range bombers, which are uniquely suited to evade Iranian air defenses and can carry America's most potent bunker-busting weapons, flew in from Missouri last week in a little-noticed operation. The B-52s carry not just bombs, but a message for Iran. Do you see our sword? Ooh, I like that. Fuck yeah. See, now this is the kind of shit I can get behind. If we're doing shit, let's take out Iran, right? Let's just take out Iran. Let's just get rid of them. I'm all for it. They've been nothing but bad guys. I believe the term is bad actors. They've been nothing but bad guys since the Islamic Revolution in the late 70s. It's time for us to, the people seem to want some form of democracy and freedom. So let's go ahead. Let's get rid of Iran. But what happens if we do that against Iran? Is Russia going to get involved? I don't think Russia will, because you see, Russia, they seem to have all that they can handle going on with the Ukis. Damn Ukis, they won't give up. So Russia can't fight 2 wars, right? They can't fight 2 fronts. So that brings us back to our old friend, the Chinese. Our old friends, the Chinese, who also have worked very closely with Iran over the years and don't seem to have as big a problem with their Islamic mindset as we do. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, if China just lets us wipe out Iran, fine. But if then all of a sudden now we've got China, now we're going to fight China in Taiwan, because China's not going to send, we're not going to fight China. We're going to fight China in Iran. We'll just do what we do to Iran, and then China will blow up a bunch of our ships, in Hong Kong or some shit. I don't know. I do fully think that we should take out Iran, though. But I also believe that in taking out Iran, we have to have certain assurances from people that Iran have been doing business with for a number of years, most noticeably China. We need to make sure that China will be, and they won't be. So that's why Iran has existed. Anyway, this is interesting, huh? The B-2s carry not just bombs, but a message for Iran. Do you see our sword? As one retired general said this week. See, you're not quoting the retired general. By the way, I should tell you where this is from. This is Ken Klippenstein. He's a far-right war hawk. But I'm reading this because it's got more details. This is a story you can find elsewhere. There is truly something going on with us. We are saber rattling in Iran right now. Let's see here. Hell will rain down on the country, Trump has said. Just today, amidst all the stock market meltdowns, Trump again reiterated his threat to Iran, saying that doing a deal would be preferable to doing what obviously comes next, which to the president is undertaking a massive strike against Iran. So, okay. So he's trying to do a new Iran deal. They had an Iran deal, and we didn't like it, and we got rid of it because I don't know what, Obama. I don't know, but and now we're dealing with Iran again, and okay, whatever. So that's a thing. Largest buildup of B-2 bombers in the history is going on right there at Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean, and that's where we would launch if we were going against Iran. All right, here's a story that I want to spend a little time on because this story is absolutely horrifying. I saw the story yesterday. We almost did it yesterday. I'm glad we waited because there are far more details about it. Yesterday, it was just shock video. You guys been following this this nightclub in the Dominican Republic that caved in? The roof caved in like crap tons. Not for us really, because we're Americans and we only know other Americans. But a lot of like really famous, well-known people died when the roof caved in on Monday night of a very fancy and high-end discotheque club in the Dominican Republic that on Monday night was hosting a concert by some like really famous merengue guy who's dead. Like this like real famous merengue guy. I don't know what merengue is, right? But apparently down there it's very popular. It's a style of music, a genre. So there's Ruby something, this merengue guy. He's up on stage and he's like, and he's old, it's like he's an icon. It'd be like going to see Willie Nelson and the fucking roof caving in and killing him right in front of you. It's awful. It was at a place called the Jet Set Nightclub. Here, I'll read you a little first. Okay, here's video of the collapse. All right, so I guess we should walk you through it. So this is video from inside the club just as the collapse occurred. We don't get to see anything really graphic because, when the ceiling caves in, it takes out all the camera equipment. And so, but here, so this is on the stage here. This is Jet Set, the Jet Set Club in the Dominican Republic. And this is some famous merengue guy doing a big concert. By the way, there were the governor of like the state was in attendance. The mayor of the city was in attendance. There were a whole bunch of like an entire family of like Dominican billionaires are dead. They all died. Octavio Dotel. I forgot about Octavio Dotel. The much traveled relief pitcher, played for 13 teams in Major League Baseball. Did he play for yours? No, I don't think he played for the Rangers. Played for the Astros, though. He played for my White Sox. Octavio Dotel, retired Major League Baseball player, was killed. All right, here you go. So this is moments. Well, I was going to say this is moments before the crash. No, this is the crash. All right, here's another view. All right, this one is interesting. This view here is interesting because I guess the roof starts to cave in the middle and you see all of these people on the dance floor or wherever they are in the club. They begin to move. They begin to run from where it seems to be caving in. The whole roof caved in. Not even like just a part of it. Oh my God. Guys, that's what I try to tell you. I try to tell you this all the time, man. Your next breath is not guaranteed, man. Just, you all big plans. Oh yeah, I'm going to be an asshole to this person today because down the road, don't fucking just live every moment like it's your last. Seriously. What I mean by that, I don't mean by like stupid choices like you're going to die. What I mean by that is in your interactions with other human beings. Just don't be all caught up in your bullshit because I'm telling you, you might go to a club tonight. I might go to the Mavericks game tonight and the roof could cave in and we're all dead, right? Nothing is guaranteed. That is a horrifying. Let me show you something that really drives that home. Here's a piece of video of that singer, Ruby Perez, who is like some kind of icon in the merengue world. I've got a video of him taking the stage. I've got a video of him relaxing in his green room backstage and then being called to come out on the stage and then him walking and shaking hands with people and taking pictures or whatever, whatever it is when you're a celebrity. And then he walks out on stage, and you see him walk out on stage for the last time, because in just about an hour, he's going to be up there performing and the roof is going to cave in. 1 hour. They were on stage for an hour. So here, let's watch this, okay? This is, again, merengue singer Ruby Perez, who is dead now, because about an hour after this video was taken of him walking out to his stage there at the Jet Set nightclub, the roof caved in and everybody's gone. A bunch of members of his band are gone. I'll give you the full numbers. The numbers are like 60 people are dead. 200 have been hospitalized. All right, here you go. This is backstage moments before the tragedy. So that's him sitting there. Kind of looks like Anderson Silva. I don't know if you know Anderson Silva, the MMA fighter is, but he kind of looks like Anderson Silva. Probably his assistant, handing him his phone and his wallet and all that stuff. Before he goes up on stage. Not a care in the world. Not a care in the world. This is what I do for a living. Just another night for me out at work. Not a care in the world. No clue that he'll be dead within an hour. Wow. All right. Well, that guy would die in about an hour. We just saw the video of him on stage. All right. So here are the details of what happened. The Jet Set nightclub on April the 8th, 2025, the roof collapsed at the Jet Set nightclub in Santo Domingo, the capital of the Dominican Republic, during a live music performance. The disaster resulted in it. Oh my God. Excuse me. I way downplayed the number. The disaster resulted in at least 124 deaths and 160 injuries and necessitated the medical evacuation of more than 150 injured individuals. Among those who died were Monte Cristi Provincial Governor Nelsie Cruz. Oh, so this is Nelly Cruz's sister. You know, Nelson Cruz, the baseball player. Well, of course, Texas. No, this is his sister. His sister was killed. Among those who died were Monte Cristi Provincial Governor Nelsie Cruz, former Major League Baseball players Octavio Dotel and Tony Blanco, and merengue legend Ruby Perez, who was performing when the roof collapsed. It says here, the Jet Set nightclub was hosting a concert by merengue musician Ruby Perez. The nightclub opened in 1973, underwent renovations in 2010. While the nightclub had operated for years, structural issues were relatively new. The building was originally a cinema, which had a very different safety regulation. The disaster happened on Tuesday, April 8th at 12:44 a.m. So that means Monday night. So Monday night, these people went out to this concert, and at 12:44 a.m. Monday night, even though it's Tuesday morning, that's when this happened. It happened at 12:44. At the time, there were between 1,000 and 1,300 people in the club. Wait, I just lost myself. I'm sorry. At that time, there were between 500 and 1,000 people in the club. Video footage reportedly taken of the concert in the venue showed a concert goer pointing to the roof, saying that something fell from the ceiling. Ruby Perez, the musician, was also seen looking at a section of the roof. Less than 30 seconds later, a loud noise was recorded and the recording went black. with a woman shouting in Spanish, "Dad, what's happened to you?" Oh, God, jeez. Just terrible, man. Just terrible. I mean, my whole thing is like now in America, when I go into a place, I've got pretty much, I've got faith in the structural integrity of the buildings and the regulations that we have that make sure that we're not, operating under the same regulatory boards that might, be down there in Dominican Republic. We're America, okay? I like to think our buildings are safer, even though I know that some of my conservative friends don't think we need regulations, but we do. So when I go to an event like this in America, I don't worry that the roof is going to collapse. I mean, I do worry that there's going to be some crazy person with a gun who's going to try and, shoot up everybody. That's a different concern. Good Lord, man. Ugh. I ain't never going to no foreign discos. This happened. You know where this seems to happen a lot? No, you know what? I think I feel pretty good. I could go to a disco in Europe. I'll go to a European disco. Not an Eastern European disco. No. But like France, England, Ireland, Scotland. I'll go to clubs there. Yeah, that's Germany. Absolutely Germany. That's fine. Serbia. I ain't going to no Serbian dance club. Are you kidding me? No. Thailand. I ain't going to none of those places either. Those places catch fire. I don't know if they collapse as much as they catch fire. There's always like some fire in Thailand that kills 400 people. And Central America. There you go. I guess I'm not going to any Central American discotheques either. But I'll go to a Carlos and Charlie's if I'm in Cancun. I feel like that's very Americanized. I feel like that's a little bit safer. Anyway, moving on. There you go. The tragic story of the Jet Set nightclub down there in the Dominican. What else do we have? Big news stories that we're going to talk about today. There's some White Lotus drama. You guys watch the White Lotus? Is there some White Lotus drama going on between Mike White, the creator of the White Lotus on HBO Max, just finished its third season, and oh my God, that show's so crazy good. So Mike White goes on Howard Stern yesterday, and apparently the guy who does the music for the White Lotus, which is really cool. Like, that's one of the like really cool things about the White Lotus is the way the music is integrated and the way the originals, like, it's just very cool, moody. Anyway, it's very cool. Reminds me a lot of the influence. Oh God, now I'm going to be a total TV dork. It reminds me of the influence that Angelo Badalamenti had over David Lynch's television projects. They were just incredibly deep and layered. Anyway, the White Lotus music guy, he's leaving the White Lotus. He's like, I am not working on another season of the White Lotus. And he's been going around to like newspapers and talking about what a jerk Mike White is and all that. So Mike White got on Howard Stern yesterday, and Howard Stern asked him about this. He said, why is you got one of the hottest shows in TV, you're ringing the cash register loud and proud. Why would somebody who's integral to the incredible series White Lotus, why would this person want to walk away now? And Mike White told the story of, well, here. Do we have it? Yeah, let's listen to it. No, okay, let's listen to it. Here we go. I can't. Here we go.
But the guy.
Oh, what the hell just happened there, Mike?
The music is great on the show, but the guy who makes the music was giving you a hard time. What happened there?
Oh, man. I honestly don't know what happened, except now I'm reading his interviews because he decided to do some PR campaign about him leaving the show. Yeah. And reading the interviews, I just realized he, I don't know. I just don't think he respected me. He, wants people to know that he's edgy and dark, and I don't know, I watch reality TV. I don't know what he's... But so, yeah, so I realized, because we never really even thought. I don't know what he's talking. He's supposed to be confused.
First of all, I just want to say this. Mike White's White Lotus isn't edgy and dark enough for you. It's like one of the edgiest. We watched a brother jerk another brother off. What do you mean, you fucking weirdo musician? It's not edgy enough? Ugh. Yeah. There was a weird momentary incestuous subplot that emerged in this season of The White Lotus, which I did not like, but there it is.
You did. I don't know. I watch reality TV. I don't know what he's. But so, yeah. So I realized, because we never really even thought. I don't know what he's talking. He's supposed to be feuded. I don't think I ever had a fight with him, except maybe some emails. I knew he was not like a team player and that he wanted to do it his way or whatever, but I was thrown that he would like go to the New York Times to shit on me in the show like 3 days before the finale. It was like kind of a bitch move. He'd won Emmys, and I don't know, he had his song go viral, and so he just did not want to go through the process anymore. He didn't want to get notes from me. He didn't want to go to spotting sessions. And he would just always look at me like he always had like this like contemptuous like smirk on his face whenever he was dealing with me, because I just think he thought I was just a chimp or something. I don't know.
Why quit a smash hit show because you got some notes and some differences? Just fucking work it out.
Oh, well, there you go. All right. God, this season of White Lotus was so good. I don't know if it's the best season. I don't know. I have to go back now and watch season 1 and season 2, but season 3 was very, very fulfilling. Walton Goggins and that Amy Lee, I've never heard of this actress before. Amy Lou Wood. She's this British actress, a little young 20-something British actress. She played Walton Goggins' girlfriend in this season of White Lotus. God, she is fascinating. I can't stop thinking about her. She first of all, she was such an incredibly interesting character, but also super fucked up British teeth. Like, it's such a weird thing. Like, it's almost like it was done on. I thought she was wearing prosthetic teeth. I'm like, oh, they are making this actress wear jacked up teeth. I don't know, to make the character more interesting, right? She's an English girl and she's like super hot until she smiles, and then you're like, oh fuck, England, socialized dentistry or whatever the problem is there. But she's got like big giant horse teeth and they're like spaced out, and when she smiles, she's like it's very weird. So weird that I thought it was fake. Right. And then she's with Walton Goggins. We all know Walton Goggins has a giant horse mouth. He's like this big giant. You could show a drive-in film on his teeth. That's how big Walton Goggins' face is and teeth. Anyway, Amy Lee Wood, turns out those are her real teeth. She is a real actress and she's getting work. Look at here. I'll show you. All right. I guess if you don't know the White Lotus, you're like, what is he talking about? Here's the point, all right? Don't get lost in my little, I get distracted by her teeth. Don't get lost in that. Because the whole point is that she's like really hot. She's like the character is so great. And you're like, well, if she was in a bar and she smiled at me, I'd walk the other way. But if I was forced to sit with her in that bar and hang out with her for a night, I'd try to take her home because she was super cool. She was like a super... And her body's hot and her personality's hot. Anyway, it's very weird. Let me show you her. I'll show you what I mean. I've never heard of this actress before, but I think she's going to be a big star now. I think she's going to break out from this. And if you think I'm crazy, like, oh, people don't break out from that. Dude, Sydney Sweeney broke out of the first season. All right, so don't tell me. Here she is. Oh, is this from Late Night with Seth Meyers? All right. Check this chick out. Because based on our rules of pretty people are only allowed to be famous, she's kind of testing that with these teeth. But she's going with it. Again, maybe it's a Barbra Streisand thing. Barbra Streisand was told from the minute she set foot on stage that she needs a nose job. Barbra Streisand the whole time said, I'm not going to get a nose job. And guess what? It turned out to be her brand. I think Amy Lee Wood. So check this chick out. Anyway, she's wonderful. She's a wonderful actress who I just discovered. And she's got very non-traditional actress teeth. Here we go.
She's starring in The White Lotus. Our next guest is a very talented actress you know from the show Sex Education. She's starring in The White Lotus, which airs its highly anticipated season 3 finale this Sunday at 9 p.m. on HBO and streams on Max. Let's take a look.
So the most important thing is to take everything very slow. Just clear your mind of everything else. So you get the idea, yeah?
Please welcome to the show, Amy Lou Wood, everybody! here.
I'm so happy I'm here. You're the nicest one.
All right.
That's what
Try and pause it on.
Really? Is that the word out on the streets?
The word on the street. Yeah, you've got a glowing reputation.
Well, that's
Sam.
wonderful.
You really do.
But to make sure not to throw it away over the course of the next 8 minutes.
Let's hope.
Now, this is a show, like myself, you were a huge fan of the first 2 seasons.
Huge. Super fan.
So what was it like when you found out, when you got the news that you were actually going to be on season 3?
It was both exhilarating.
All right. I'm not going to get a good tooth shot. Anyway, you watch it. She's got weird non-traditional actress teeth. She's a wonderful actress. She's terrific. I can't wait to see what she does next because she's so fun. She's just such a, but I'm like, oh my God, look at that. I am super shallow when it comes to teeth. And then her personality and her character won me over. There you go. Yes, by the way, the chat room is saying that Mike White was in School of Rock. Mike White was in Freaks and Geeks. Mike White was an actor. He was an actor. He did I think he was in 40-Year-Old Virgin. He was in a bunch of the Judd Apatow stuff and all that stuff. But yeah, you may know Mike White, the creator of White Lotus, from School of Rock, where he played Jack Black's roommate. Good eye, Kev. Good eye. All right, let's see. White Lotus drama. All right, here we go. We'll get into the big local story. As I've been saying all morning and all afternoon, happy Luca Day to those who celebrate. I don't know if I'm still figuring out whether or not I'm going to be able to go over to the American Airlines Center, just a half a block away across the alley, just across. That's all I got to do. Block away probably, but so I'm deciding whether or not I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to see the big return of Luka Doncic. Luka, of course, traded from the Mavericks a couple of months ago to the Los Angeles Lakers. The city is still not recovered. The city is really, I mean, I've got some real thoughts on this. And I don't know if I've ever really talked about the Luka trade. I think that on the Shock House thing that we do, I think I've talked a little bit more in depth about it. But again, I'm not a Luka fan, okay? I'm not. As a matter of fact, I dislike Luka. I dislike Luka Doncic. I think he's a bitch. I think he's a crybaby bitch. At the very same time, I think that he's one of the 5 most exciting basketball players in the NBA right now, without question, right? Now, the problem with it is, yes, he is naturally gifted and he can do things that I have never seen anybody do, especially an Eastern European white boy. I mean, he's really incredible. It's undeniable. But the question with these guys is, how long is he going to be this incredible? How long will it be this undeniable? Because I guess the word among some people is that he doesn't work very hard. He's lazy. He ain't Michael Jordan. He ain't Kobe, right? He doesn't have that mentality where even though he's the best, he's got to sharpen that blade every single fucking day. The knock on Luka is that he just shows up and he balls out and he crushes everybody, puts up 70 and goes home and gets drunk. So from a management standpoint, a lot of people don't know if they want to do a max deal with somebody like that who's going to be 30 and, all of a sudden, maybe not as fast as they were. And he never played defense. But still, you can't trade that guy, man. So that's where we are here in Dallas. We traded that guy. Someone who I would have absolutely considered to have been untradeable, right? I mean, a day before they traded Luka, wouldn't you have bet all the money in your pocket that the Mavericks would never trade Luka? And then the next day they do. So this city, their superstar being traded away in his prime, something that just doesn't happen. I mean, you have to go back to the Boston Red Sox trading George Herman Ruth to the New York Yankees to find a fan base that has been as devastated as the Dallas Mavericks fan base had been over the last couple of months. And yeah, by the way, that does need to be pointed out. Boston was devastated when Babe Ruth was traded to the Yankees. Boston hated the Yankees. And Boston also knew they had the best star in the game. Babe Ruth was already an emerging superstar when he played for the Boston Red Sox. So they knew. And there were articles written. Bob Sturm recently, I heard, I don't know, I heard a clip of it. I don't know if it was yesterday, if it was maybe recently. But Bob Sturm from The Ticket was reading an article from a Boston newspaper the day after Babe Ruth was traded. And it was very similar to what we've been seeing here in Dallas from fans. Here, I want to show you this, though. This has been going around. Did you guys see this? We're going to talk more about Luka coming back and what to expect and what we're probably going to see there out of the fans. But did you guys see this? This is so incredible. I don't know if this is AI. I don't know what this is. I call it magic. It was going around virally, and it's the evolution of Luka Doncic. Have you guys seen this? Let's just watch this for a minute, and then we'll get into the real story. So look at, there he is as a kid in 2005. Watch this. This is incredible. Man, let me tell you something. When he's not fat Luka, look at this dude, man. This is a boy bander. This guy could be an NSYNC. This is a good-looking kid. Good-looking, young, all the talent in the world. Ugh. When's he get fat? When's he get, a little bit of a belly? He's thickening up, but that's because he's growing. He's maturing as a man. We're already at 2021, and I wouldn't say that this is heavy Luka. All right, now, so, okay, maybe getting a little heavy here. I'm seeing a little flesh moving around as he's running, but again, that's AI. I don't know what I'm looking at. Is this fat Luka? This doesn't look, this is the fattest Luka, but this isn't even, I wouldn't call that fat Luka. Yeah, whatever. Look at that, huh? All right, so that's what we're going to see tonight there on the floor at the American Airlines Center. Luka Doncic will make his big return to his home. The people who loved and nurtured and cared for him, and the place that his kid was born, and all that good stuff. So how are we going to react? Let's see. Let's get rid of this. Where is it? The magazine. Yeah, there it is. I want to pull from this. Saw this was posted earlier today. Jake Kemp, who's of course part of the Dumb Zone. The Dumb Zone. Check him out. He's also a writer, formerly of The Ticket. Yeah, you guys, look, if you don't know who he is, it doesn't matter. He's really great. He's really good. I love what he does. He's so talented. Anyway, he wrote a really interesting piece today for D Magazine about the return of Luka, and I thought maybe we could go through that. Let's read this. I won't read the whole thing. He's a terrific writer, but I don't want to, I don't want to bore you with it. Go read it yourself. Okay, there you go. He makes some very interesting observations about he as a Dallas Mavericks fan and about Dallas Maverick fans in general, and how, and this is what I want to talk about, and how being a fan in Dallas is a little bit different than being a fan in other places. Here's what Jake writes for the Dallas, for D Magazine. Welcome to the confessional room. I'm going to let you in on a little secret, one that listeners of the show I co-host are well aware of. I sometimes wish I had been born in Philadelphia. As a Philadelphia sports fan. I know, it's bad, but I'm trying to be honest and vulnerable with you. So just give me a second. He says, this isn't something I felt as a youth when the Cowboys were throwing parades, not only because the team was winning, but because I would watch the celebrations on television and it looked like pandemonium. Every adult I knew was obsessed with the Cowboys, I thought, and that worked out well for me. Owner of a lunchbox with an image of the triplets on it. It wasn't until I was probably a teenager that reality started to sink in. Oh, we are thought of as one of those sports towns. Fair weather, soft, all sizzle, no substance. It took me a second to put all this together. We are a metropolis of sprawl, of transplants. We lack a robust public transit system to games to get rowdy aboard. Our stadiums are not in bustling, walkable areas, limiting the said rowdiness. Then I learned what pregame and stadium experiences were like in Philadelphia. It was like I was watching a different sport, one much more akin to the college game. I would hear about opposing team buses getting pelted with objects, and I wanted to be a part of that. The fans truly seemed to live and die with their dream in Philadelphia. The same could be said for Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Seattle, Green Bay, and a handful of other NFL cities. And then you start to learn about how sports works in the rest of the Western world, particularly European soccer, where supporters groups are akin to labor unions, collectively wielding power and making their voices heard. But the Philadelphia example has always been front and center for me, as we probably see as many of its games of any team not named the Cowboys. I'm not saying it's impossible that the Philadelphia team would have done what the Mavericks did in trading away the city's favorite son, but it's as close to impossible as possible. Why? Because 76ers fans would have rioted. Quite literally, their home games would have seen interruptions during play for weeks. And I genuinely believe that there is a chance that the 76ers organization would have had to consider playing a couple of games without fans. Now, obviously, the financial considerations would have been steep, but I think their hands would have been forced. You don't become a respected voting bloc without there being a little bit of fear about how you're going to react. All right, so this is Jake Kemp writing in D Magazine about the Dallas fan base's reaction to Luka. And what he is saying is that the people here, they didn't react the way other fans and other teams would have reacted. And he is drawing a direct correlation to the worst behaved fans in all of sportsdom, the Philadelphia sports fan. I say worst only because I don't think, like, the worst fans in all of sports are the Chicago White Sox fans, the South Side white trash. We are the absolute worst. We are the only fans in the history of any sport that I know of that has actually on multiple occasions jumped the walls and stabbed umpires and opposing team coaches. And that wasn't even one incident. That multiple incidents where we've had people charge out of the stands. We've had gunfights in our stadium. All right, so... But Jake's point is that Philadelphia would have reacted in a much different way. And not just Philadelphia, other cities would have reacted in a much different way than Dallas did. And I have to tell you, I don't really understand what the point is. I think this is a great read, and it goes on for about another, 5,000 words, but they're all enjoyable, so don't beat yourself up on it. And he goes on to talk about, the Dumonts and Nico and all of that stuff, and he seems to be suggesting that we, the fans, and I shouldn't put myself in this because I'm not, I'm a Bulls fan. I like the Mavs as like my adopted team, but I'm a Bulls fan. But he seems to be suggesting that the fans didn't go hard enough, which is interesting. I mean, a lot of people made some hay and got a bunch of clicks by doing little viral videos, but there were no mass gatherings. Was there any point where 30,000 people gathered in Victory Plaza chanting Fire Neek? I mean, I didn't see that. But the point that Jake raises in this D Magazine article is that you would have seen that elsewhere. And I fully agree with him. You would absolutely have seen that elsewhere. Now, I don't know what it is about the Dallas sports fan, but I have always said that Dallas sports fans are some of the most mercurial and disloyal sports fans I've ever seen. There are people who are still walking around saying that they will never root for the Mavericks again. Because this one GM and this one, son of some rich lady, isn't that what Patrick Dumont is? Because they made a really terrible decision. Well, you know what? I've been a fan of teams whose ownership over the past 50 years have made one incredibly alienating and awful decision after another. I'm still a fan. And I think that's because in other cities, more so than here for some reason, Fans are fans of the laundry first. You know what that means? Fan of the laundry? Like me with my fucking White Sox. I'm a fan of the laundry. Same with my Bears. I'm a fan of the laundry. Look, we got rid of Justin Fields, and I'm going to root for Justin Fields, but I am not going to suddenly become a Jets fan. No, I'll root for the guy who's wearing the laundry of my team. We root for the uniform. I know a bunch of people who are, Jake himself talks in the article. He goes on to talk about how he's going to the game tonight, and he is not a Mavericks fan anymore, and that he will be rooting for the Lakers and that he will be rooting for Luka Doncic and all of that. Now, I don't know if this is some form of catharsis for him, for the fan, to generate it that way. I don't know. It's been 2 months. He's not coming back. This is the night that he's going to come back. So how are we going to greet him? I mean, there's no question about how we're going to greet Luka, right? The place is going to go fucking nuts. The place is going to be absolutely bonkers. This isn't about an anger at Luka. They feel this is our child. Our child was kidnapped from us by the evil Nico. So I think the audience's reaction is just going to be overwhelming. I think that it's going to be... And they're probably going to do some really cool stuff on the board for him, a lot of Luka highlights. It's going to be a great night. The Mavs are going to get their asses kicked because I think that there's going to be it's going to be hard to stop Luka tonight. 70. I'm calling it. Luka's going to go off for 70. It's going to be nuts. But what are fans supposed to be? Jake seems to be suggesting that fans need to absolutely abandon the Mavericks, never be fans of them again, find a new team to root for. And I just don't think that that's realistic. Again, because I root for the laundry. My White Sox got rid of Jose Abreu like a year after he won the MVP. I love Jose Abreu as a man. I love Jose Abreu as a dude, as a guy. Sure, he went to Houston and shit the bed. That's fine. But he was our MVP. And when we got rid of him, I was very upset. I was like, why are we getting rid of him? Well, it's probably in his best interest. And I'm like, no, pay him. He wants to stay. And we didn't. And that upset me. But I'm still a fan of the laundry, man. I'm still a fan of, the team. So I think that if you're a Mavericks fan who is walking around now, maybe a couple of months ago, you were like, Mr. Mavericks fan, you got a bumper sticker and all that stuff. If you were that guy and now you're walking around and you're like, I'm not a Mavericks fan. You were never a Mavericks fan to begin with. You were like a fan of a guy. And this is another thing that I don't want to say that Jake kind of gets at, but it is one of the other criticisms of Dallas fans. Dallas is filled with Champagne fans. Champagne fans are fans that they will not fucking shut up when times are good, right? But then when times are bad, they have very little interest. They have very little. I think that stems from the sports media in this town. I think this town has absolutely atrocious sports media. What this town has done in the field of, I shouldn't say that because this is the home of the ticket and all of that, and it is some of the most entertaining sports media, okay? But I think that form of Dallas sports talk grew organically from the other thing, which is Dallas sports people not wanting to go after ownership. It's a very small town in this regard, and I knew it when I was on the radio here. You run into people all the time. You don't want to make it weird by going off on them on the... So Dallas has always been that. The ticket guys, they don't go hard. They don't really, what they do instead is they're funny, they're creative, they have bits and they make you laugh and they entertain you in other ways. You want to see what awful sports radio is? Listen to 105.3. That is what the ticket would be without talented people, without people who were just entertainers first and foremost. 105.3 is just straight up sports. And I know they got a little pat on the back from people when they stood up to Jerry Jones a couple of months ago. But let me tell you something. Jerry brought them bitches to heel. There was no follow-up on that. It wasn't like they won. I mean, they got in trouble for that. So now they're towing the line. Dallas sports guys aren't like New York sports guys. Dallas sports guys aren't like Los Angeles, Boston, New York, or Chicago or Philadelphia sports guys. Those guys don't give a fuck. Dallas sports guys all seem like they kind of want to go out to, Club Zaza and have drinks with the quarterback. Because what? Because look, I'm friends with Dak. Look, I'm having a drink with Dak. You know, they're real journalists who cover sports teams would never in a million years think that that's an option. But that's like the kind of thing that we have here in Dallas. Everybody's a fucking kiss ass. Everybody wants to be a part of the glamour. And maybe it's because the Cowboys are so glamorous. Maybe that's what it is. Like maybe this started in the 70s where objective sports journalism was thrown out the window because everybody wanted to have a good time with the fun boy cowboy. I don't know. But this is a truly unique sports media market. There isn't much criticism of the ownerships. I mean, I know that everybody's been ripping on Nico for the last couple of months, but that's a one-off, man. And my God, you have to say something there. Let's see here. Jake goes on to say, I'll pull some more from his D Magazine article that was great. He says, there was an aha moment where I realized that fandom in Dallas was deservedly derided from a national perspective. And it isn't fully fair to treat fans here like a monolith. I've had some of the best times in my life celebrating with hardcore fans in the sports temples of this city, but it's like there aren't enough of us or something. It just feels like ownership and management groups in this city often take fan support for granted, operating with a, well, what are they going to do about it? Most people just want to come to a social event. Oh, okay, I see what he's saying. So the attitude of management is, when it comes to fans being upset, management attitude is, well, what are they going to do about it? Most people just want to come to a social event. That's their attitude. And unfortunately, it appears they've usually been correct about that. Yeah, man. I mean, look, half the people at Cowboy games aren't football fans. Cowboy fans on a Cowboy day, you go there, it's just a bunch of people from fucking, South Lake in fur coats. It's not like Green Bay. It ain't like Kansas City. It ain't like Pittsburgh. It's not. It's a completely different weird thing. And I was the first 5 rows at Mavericks games. This is like the most exclusive dance club in Dallas. The first 5 rows around the bowl at Mavericks games. Those people aren't even watching basketball. They're socializing. A bunch of women with big fake boobs. Now, I know you can say it's like Los Angeles. And yeah, that is like Los Angeles. But it ain't like New York. Those people who are ringside in New York, those people are hardcore. Spike Lee is into it, man. Stephon Marbury is into it, man. Charles Oakley is into it, man. It's just a different sports attitude. The Rangers winning the World Series and then it just, not being a major thing was so strange to me. Anyway, I don't know. Luka comes back tonight, and we got all 4 sports teams in this town. We have a media that has been derelict in their duties to call out people in power. We've got fans that seem apathetic, aside from just a few who want to do viral videos about how they're angry at Nico. I don't know. Let's see. We probably got some opinions on my sports take here on Dallas fans and what's happening here with this Luka Day. Once again, happy Luka Day for those who celebrate. Frank Smith, he's one of the biggest Dallas-Fort Worth sports fans I know. He says many folks are not from here. People come to Dallas to work and are from places like Boston and New York and California and the Midwest like me. Yeah, you're absolutely true. It is as far as the growth and the population here in North Texas, it is a very transient population, unlike other places, unlike New York. Well, New York's pretty transient too, but it's still big from the get-go. Let's say Philadelphia, Boston, right? Chicago. I don't know where else. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Cincinnati, Cleveland, places like that. Those places have people who, born and bred. They're rooting for the same team that their grandpa rooted for. Whereas down here, like I go to Ranger games, but I wear a White Sox hat. Like I'm a White Sox fan. It's so that may have something to do with it. That the population boom here in Dallas, the population boom that then necessitated the introduction of major sports teams, that population boom was from people from elsewhere. So that's probably the effect on the fandom. The actual people who are die hard, maybe Maybe there's not enough of them born and raised in Forney. Maybe there's not enough of them from Richardson and Frisco and Plano, because this area is almost overwhelmed by people who bring their fandoms of other teams. Like me, I'm an example of that. I don't go crazy. I've been here for 20 years almost, right? Off and on. I'm not a Dallas sports fan first and foremost at all. I go to see Dallas sports fans when my Chicago teams are in town. But or like tonight, if I can get a ticket. Let me see. My thing went off. Hold on. We got news, everybody. We got no news. All right. My news, I got an update on my ticket situation about whether or not I'm going to see Luka tonight. The update is no word yet. All right. Not what I wanted to hear. Frank also says, let's see here. Frank says, many fans in non-Cowboy games like the Rangers and Mavericks and Stars are there for a night out and taking selfies and drinking, and the kids are eating. Yeah, but that's the same. It's no different than it's not super cheap for anybody to go out to a baseball game. If you're it doesn't matter where you are, Dallas, Cleveland, Cincinnati, it doesn't matter. It's still expensive. You're going to have fun. You're going to take pictures. I think there's something more to the first part of what you said, Frank, about the people being from somewhere else. People will go to a Ranger game. A couple they're from Cincinnati. They met in college. The wife got a job at Frito-Lay, and the husband moved down here to start a business, and now they're down here, and they wear their Cincinnati Reds hats and stuff. They go to a Ranger game, but they're not diehard Ranger fans the way, everybody in Fenway is, or everybody in, Shea State. Is Shea Stadium still a thing? It's not, right? There's no such thing as Shea Stadium anymore. I don't know. It's weird. It's just very weird. Adam says he's late. The Rangers ended. The Rangers win or lose up there in freezing cold Chicago to the Cubs. They're playing the Cubs up there in Wrigley. Was watching. Our boy Greg the Hammer Williams, formerly of the Hardline and the Ticket, he posted something yesterday on Twitter where he was making fun of the Ranger players and how they were overreacting to the cold weather there in Chicago. I think it was in the 30s, and they were wearing winter jackets and stuff like that. And he said nobody is softer or whatever, than a Major League Baseball player having to hang out in the cold. And I shot back at him. I'm like, no, dude, it's not about being soft. I played baseball in the Midwest. That's where I grew up. Half the baseball games I played in was fucking cold, man. And there is very few things in this world that are more instantaneously painful than the shock of a wood bat on cold hands. If your hands are freezing and you make solid contact with a wood bat and you don't have a firm grip and you get that revert, oh my God. My hands, they look like ground beef after a day in the batting cages when it's cold. It is fucking hard to hit in the cold. Anyway, but here's the other problem with baseball. This is why baseball players are so much more affected by cold weather. There's a lot of standing around in baseball. There's a lot of standing around and waiting for whatever happens. And you're standing around in 35-degree temperatures at 8 o'clock at night. All right, in April in Chicago, it's still going to be cold from time to time. So I think that contributes to it a lot. You're not constantly moving around like football. Soccer players could probably play outside in the cold. They wouldn't get cold at all because they're constantly running. Baseball players, a lot of downtime in baseball, a lot of standing around, freezing your balls off. Adam says it sucks with aluminum bats too. Not nearly as bad. Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. Yeah, an aluminum bat can give you a nice little sting too, but it is a wooden bat, man. Wooden bat in extreme cold because the wood itself is harder. Wood warms up when the elements and everything, wood warms up, it gets softer and more. But when the bat itself just has no give to it and it's wood, and oh my God, I can feel it already. Oh man, it's like you're like, oh, my hands. And then you look at them and they're all red. They look like ground beef. Ugh. And that's with batting gloves. All right, I'm telling you, that's with an extra layer of cloth. It's no fun. So when you see these baseball players out there in these cold weather early in the season games, when you see them out there really struggling, they ain't faking and they ain't soft. It really is cold. You go stand outside. Go stand in your front lawn. I'll tell you what, We'll start an inning of baseball, and you go stand in your backyard. Just stand there. Not one ball's coming to you. The pitcher's going to have a really good inning. You're just going to stand there in the outfield for like 25 minutes in 35-degree weather, okay? Yeah, you're going to start jumping up and down. You're going to start doing this. It's going to be blowing in your hands. It's just what's going to happen. You get too much time to think about that shit in baseball. Too much time. All right, what else do we have here? Let's see. What else are we talking about? We got the Luka thing. Luka's coming back. Still don't know if I'm going to the game or not. Sure hope I am. Here's some weird news about Teslas. Been a lot of bad news lately for Tesla. Unless, of course, you're prosecuting someone who fucks up a Tesla. Then you've gotten good news because apparently now it's a death penalty. Death penalty or life in Guantanamo for spitting on a Tesla. That seems right. Fucking idiot. They should put these. Anybody who damages a Tesla should go to jail for at least 20. Shut the fuck up, you moron. Really? That's what you think? That's how you think the world should work. A specific brand of car. One person has a hatred for that brand. He does that. His life should be now 20 years. That's what you think is a fair prison. You fucking monsters, dummies. You spit out a Tesla, it shouldn't be jail time at all. You know why? Because spitting on a Tesla doesn't do anything to a Tesla. You're not damaging it. All you're doing is spitting on a Tesla. You blow up a Tesla dealership, now we're talking. You blow up a Tesla dealership, you've done some damage. We're going to need to get lawyers involved. There's probably going to be a long jail term. That's all. Spitting on a Tesla. He keyed my Tesla. All right. Should you go to jail for keying a Tesla in a parking lot? Fuck no. You know why? Because you shouldn't go to jail for keying anything in a parking lot. You know what that is? That's a fucking miscreant kind of thing. That's just you're a degenerate. You're a jerk. We're not going to fill prison cells with degenerate jerks. So what do you get for scratching? What do you do for keying up a Tesla? I think you got to pay for it for sure. Maybe a night in jail. All right, you know what? That's fine. A night in lockup, maybe 2 nights. These idiots, they're like, if you do anything to a Tesla, what if I do something to a Ford? No, that's fine. Why is that fine? Because Elon, fuck you. We don't make special rules for special things, okay? You fuck up a Tesla, you get in trouble for fucking up a car, okay? It should have nothing to do with whether or not, oh, man. All right, let's go on to the latest news about Tesla. This is wild. Though the car company, this is from Jalopnik, their car, they're the big tech site, Jalopnik. It says Tesla trade-ins. Though the company previously declared that there were over 1 million Cybertruck pre-orders, remember that hype from a year ago? The Cybertruck is coming and there are 1 million and people can't get them, and Cybertrucks were selling for like $250,000. Like those idiots, the early adopters, the first wave of Cybertruck people were paying 3 times the cost, 3 times the listed cost because they wanted to be first. Those people are smart because they've been involved in all the recalls from the very beginning. They've gotten to know their Tesla dealers so well. Though the company previously declared that there were over 1 million Cybertruck pre-orders, so you declare that for stock, right? You make it, hey, everybody buys the stock. Though the company previously declared that there were over 1 million Cybertruck pre-orders, Tesla can't find buyers for the current backlog of nearly 2,500 Cybertrucks, or about $200 million worth of inventory. All right, so that was an interesting little couple of numbers that they gave us there. So Tesla is saying they have about $200 million in Cybertruck inventory. They also are saying that the number of Cybertrucks is 2,400. Okay. So I'm like, I've seen Cybertrucks going for 150, 200, 250, crazy amounts. And not recently, but like back 6 months, 9 months ago, we were seeing these crazy. So if they're saying they've got 200 million worth of inventory and 2,400 trucks, what do they think their trucks are worth? 80 grand. 80 grand is what that number comes out to. So Tesla themselves are like, yeah, this is an 80 grand truck. How's that feel, moron who spent 250 on a car that's been recalled 6 times in 9 months? No, you're not stupid. No. It says here, not only do they have a backlog of Cybertrucks, not only that, but Tesla is allegedly refusing to accept its own Cybertrucks as trade-ins since it can't sell them back, and is reportedly even forcing some owners to lemon law their cars instead. This is from Jalopnik. This is a legitimate tech in all of that site. That Jalopnik is reporting that Tesla is no longer accepting Cybertrucks, their own vehicles. They're no longer accepting their own vehicles for trade-ins because they can't sell them. And what some Tesla drivers are being advised is to utilize their state's lemon laws. Tesla is officially telling its people to what? Fucking that's illegal. That's taxpayer dollar lemon laws. What? We're now going to give them their money back? What, the government is going to enforce? What is that? I don't even know how that works. Tesla will not take their own cars in trade-ins because they have too many, and at the moment they can't fucking sell them. Tesla is refusing to accept its own Cybertrucks as trade-ins since it can't sell them, and is reportedly even forcing owners to lemon law their cars instead. That's an ominous sign for the model that was supposed to revolutionize the pickup market and revitalize the automaker's aging lineup. Despite Tesla's lofty sales expectations, Cybertruck monthly sales peaked at just 5,000 units in September of last year. All right, so let's go back to September of last year. That was peak Cybertruck craziness. 5,000 were sold in September of last year. But since those numbers have fallen sharply, the most recent Cybertruck recall affected almost every unit sold, and in the process revealed that Tesla had only delivered 46,000 of its stainless steel pickups. Beyond the lack of demand, Elon Musk's decision to cozy up to Donald Trump and open Doge, an organization that has systematically disassembled multiple public service institutions that millions of American citizens love and rely on for employment and for services, has also negatively impacted the brand image in public. All right. There you go. Tesla's having problems. What else? Now, Tesla owners are trying to get rid of their Teslas in order to distance themselves from the politics of its owner, and people around the globe are boycotting the brand. These numerous yet easily avoidable challenges have led to the decline in Tesla resale values and a massive surplus of undesirable new Cybertrucks. Dude, I will buy a Cybertruck. If they get down to like 20 grand, I would buy a Cybertruck. Like, come on. That's the only way that poor people... Actually, that's the only way they're going to sell trucks. So if they sell them to poor people at serious discounts. All right, there you have it. So if you've got a Tesla, and by the way, that's not just for Cybertrucks. That's for all Teslas because they're not selling. They're not accepting Teslas. According to Jalopnik, Tesla is no longer accepting other Teslas for trade-ins. They can't get rid of them. They've got too much of their own cars. It's your problem. And the Tesla is a good car, right? I mean, it is a good car. Like the normal Tesla cars. I don't know about the Cybertrucks, right? Because those are crazy and whatever. But the normal everyday Tesla cars, they are good cars, I believe. Like, I've heard good things. So okay, so maybe this is good. Maybe everybody hates Elon so much that like poor people can drive nice cars for once. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe CarMax will just be filled with like $18,000 Teslas with like 10,000 miles on it. A boy can dream. A boy can dream. All right, let's see here. Oh, how about a list of the wealthiest cities in America? Or not the wealthiest cities in America, wealthiest cities in the world. I don't care about the wealthiest cities in America. I can guess. The wealthiest city in the world, that's got my eye. I'm like, oh, I want to know what that is. You got to figure Far East, right? Some crazy place over like off the coast of China or something. It's got like the most quadbillionaires or something. I don't know. Anyway, this is the Times of London. Times of London published this story. I don't know what this is from. Where did the Times of London? Times of London is very upset because London has fallen out of the top 5 wealthiest cities in the world. Now, how did they come up with this? It's number of millionaires. So I'm going to give you a number, and all you have to know is that is the number of millionaires who live in this city. Number of millionaires. All right. All right, here we go. These are hold on. All right, here we go. These are the top 5. Remember, London has fallen out of the top 5. These are the top 5 wealthiest cities in the world by number of millionaires. Okay, here you go. Number 5. This is the city that bumped London. London is no longer in the top 5. The number 5 wealthiest city in the world with 220,000 millionaires. 220,000 millionaires live in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is number 5. Number 4 with 242,000 millionaires. Yeah, this is one I figured would be up there. Singapore. Number 3, wealthiest city on the planet with 292,000 millionaires living in the city of Tokyo. Number 2, wealthiest city in the world with 342,000 millionaires. The number 2 wealthiest city in the world. Yeah. So I always think this is the most expensive city in America, but it's not. San Francisco. San Francisco is the second wealthiest city in the world with 342,000 millionaires living in San Francisco. That brings us to number 1. What is the number one wealthiest city in the world? Yep, you knew it, with 384,000 millionaires. New York, start spreading the news. New York is number 1. That's your top 5. Top 5 wealthiest cities on the planet: Los Angeles, Singapore, Tokyo, San Francisco, and New York City. Where was London? Because London apparently got bumped out. So where's London? Oh, London is 6. There. Oh, we'll do the next 5. All right, here's the top 10. Why not? I gave you the top 5 wealthiest cities on the planet. Let me give you the top 10. Number 6 is London. London has 215,000 millionaires. Number 7 on the list is Paris. You knew Paris had to be in there, right? Paris has 160,000 millionaires. Number 8 on the list of wealthiest cities. I'm surprised this is 8. I would have thought this was higher. Number 8, Hong Kong. Hong Kong has 154,000 millionaires living in the city of Hong Kong. Number 9 on the list of the wealthiest cities on the planet. Number 9 with 152,000 millionaires living in the city of Sydney, Australia. Number 10, rounding out the top 10 with 127,000 millionaires living in the city of my hometown, Chicago. So there you go. All right, top 10 wealthiest cities in the world: Chicago, Sydney, Hong Kong, Paris, London, Los Angeles, Singapore, Tokyo, San Francisco, and New York City. There you have it. What else do we have here? Oh, how about another list? Yeah, let's do another one. All right, here we go. Let's talk about the best airport food. You guys travel? I don't travel as much. Never mind. Don't say it. Not everything that's next up in your head needs to be said. I don't want to say it. Anyway, I don't travel as much as I would like to. But I used to travel, and I used to make it's very important to me, my ranking of airports. What we've got here is we've got a list here of airports. It's an airport ranking, but it's the only important thing that I find about airports, okay? These are airports ranked by their food choices. So important. So important, because a lot of times you find yourself with nothing to do in an airport. Like, I don't know, your plane's getting delayed or you got an hour to kill and you need restaurants. I will give you an example. I used to love I used to love flying into Love Field. Like when I was living in Chicago and I'd fly back here for this reason or the other, I used to love flying into Love Field. Why? Because right when you get off the plane, right there, the first food things that you see, Whataburger. There's a Whataburger right there in Love Field. You're walking out the gate. You start to smell that shit. You're like, I love that. I love that there's a Whataburger there. On the other end of it, Midway Airport in Chicago, which I'm sorry, I'm going to go to my grave. We'll give you the full list of the airports that supposedly have the best food. I think that Midway Airport has the best food of any airport I've ever been to. Midway Airport has a food court, just like a mall. You know, like you go to a mall and they got like a big food court. Midway has a food court, like a mall food court, but it is all legitimate Chicago cornerstone restaurants and fare. Like for instance, there's a Pegasus Gyro. So like you get a food court, you get yourself a real Chicago gyro right there, right next to it. You get an Al's Italian beef. Next to that, you get a Wiener Circle for hot dogs. Then you got like a Giordano's pizza. It's the best. It's the absolute best. So I love Midway. I love coming home to Chicago and it just being like, hey, we ain't leaving right away. We're gonna stop. We're gonna eat. I'm gonna get a gyro. I'm gonna get a hot dog, and I'm gonna get a beef sandwich, and then we'll be on our way. So I love Love Field and Midway Airport. I think they have great food at both of them. But here we go. The experts have spoken, and apparently those two airports are just too piddly dunk for this list because neither of my two favorite make the list. All right, let's see here. These are the 10 best airports in America for food. Number 10, Seattle Tacoma. Never been. Let me tell you about the food of Seattle. Fish, right? Whenever you see like videos of like the Seattle economy and all that stuff, you always see like fishmongers in Seattle and like throwing fish. So I think of fish, but also I think of hot dogs with mayonnaise and coleslaw, right? Don't they do that? Don't they put coleslaw or mayonnaise on their hot dogs? That's fucking gross. I want no part of it, Seattle. Number 9 on the list of airports with the best food, Miami International Airport. I bet you get a good Cuban. I bet you get a good Cuban sandwich, and I'm all for that. Denver International Airport comes in number 8 as having the best food in America. Not a clue. I have no clue what they got. And what is Denver famous for food-wise? No idea. Number 7 is San Francisco International Airport in California. Yeah, I bet San Francisco would have good food. And it's because San Francisco is a great food city. San Francisco has amazing food, whether it's the Asian influences or a very heavy Italian influence. Oh my God. San Francisco's great. Seafood, like a really great California seafood scene. Oh, San Francisco's got an incredible food scene. So there you go. Number 7, San Francisco International Airport. Number 6, not in the top 5, but we'll take it, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. I got to be honest with you. I don't know. I couldn't give you any of the food examples at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. I haven't flown out or into Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in easily a decade. I can't remember the last time I used DFW. I use Love Field for everything. It's the greatest airport on the planet. Let's hear it for Love Field. I love it. So I don't know what kind of stuff they got there at DFW. Number 5 is Austin Bergstrom. Yeah, I can tell you about the food at Austin Bergstrom. You know why? Because I once got laid over. My kid was living in Austin at the time, and my flight out picking him up got canceled. So we had like 2 hours to fill, and we're like, well, let's eat something. We don't want to leave the airport. You know what we ate in Austin? We ate Earl Campbell barbecue. That's right. Texas legend, Houston Oiler legend, Earl Campbell. Apparently he makes barbecue and he sells it in the airport down there in Austin, and it was fucking great. It was great. So there you go. Number 5 is Austin Bergstrom International Airport in Texas. Number 4 is LaGuardia. Yeah, New York's probably gonna have good food. This, another great food city. Number 3 is JFK. So the 2 New York airports are 4 and 3. Number 3 is O'Hare, Chicago O'Hare International Airport. Yeah, I mean, I know that O'Hare's got like a bunch of like pretty good Chicago restaurants in there. Like they got good pizza stuff and all right, whatever. I don't know. Number 3 is JFK in New York. Number 2 is O'Hare, and number 1, the best food in all the airports is Hartfield Jackson in Atlanta. What is Atlanta famous for food-wise? Seriously. Soul food? Yeah, like maybe like what is Atlanta known for food-wise? I can't think of any single food that Atlanta is known by. I mean, like, Miami, you got the Cuban sandwich, New York, you got spaghetti or whatever Italian stuff. Chicago, you can go pizza or hot dogs. Dallas down here, we can go barbecue or tacos. What the fuck is Atlanta known for? Barbecue? I don't know. All right, there you have it, folks. Those are the best airports in America to eat food. Hey, you want to see something funny? I saw this. We're going to close out with this. This is how we're going to end today's show. And I wanted to play this because I saw this going around yesterday and it brought back nice memories for me. This is a bit that me and my former partner used to do. Kelly and I were just obsessed over the years with the game show Wheel of Fortune. And we were obsessed with people screwing it up. So, like, we would record Wheel of Fortune every night. And, we'd be like, hey, did you see Wheel of Fortune last night? Let's get that clip from that person. Anyway, it's always funny to see people really struggling. So I wanted to show you this. This reminded me of that old bit we used to do, Wheel of Misfortune. Here is, I don't know if this is last night, but it was going around. It was going around virally this morning, and I saw it. So I don't know if this is new or old, but here we go, man. We can all feel for our brother, our fellow man in a moment like this. Wheel of Fortune.
Wow.
L.
Yeah, 4 L's. Pick that up, turn it over. Lay it down right over that London trip down there. 650.
Y.
There's a Y.
I mean, you guys can see it, right? Right. You can see it. He's spinning. He's feeling like, I don't know what but you can see it, right? The answer is mythological hero Achilles. Achilles and the Achilles heel and all of that. Okay, so we know what the answer is. We're just waiting for him. He's collecting some money. Let's let him play the game.
500.
G.
1 G. 700.
C.
Yeah, there are 2 C's. Well.
There it is, the whole word.
Okay.
The whole word.
I solve.
Oh, well, that'd be a good idea, yeah.
Mythological hero Achilles.
You can't accept that.
Okay.
Shelby.
I'll solve.
Yeah.
Mythological hero Achilles.
Oh my God. Oh my. Mythological hero Achilles. Don't you have to give that to him? Like I was watching it and I'm like, don't you have to give that to him? He's spelling, those are the letters. Pronunciation is, I guess pronunciation is important in Wheel of Fortune. I don't know. That poor guy, that was so sad. Oh my goodness. All right, here's what I got going on right now. I got to get out of here. I got to go. I got to run over to Mockingbird in Greenville, and then I've got to come back here, and hopefully by that point, I will know whether or not I am going to see Luca tonight. How exciting. How exciting for me. I do want to remind you all that this show does run on your gratuities and your tips and all of that stuff. If you enjoy this kind of talk radio, we do it each and every day around about noon. Tomorrow, I think we got a noon show for you. Tomorrow, I got nothing. I'll be here at normal morning hours. So come one, come all tomorrow at noon. Yeah, that's it. I'll let you know. Hey, if you follow me on Twitter or whatever, I'm sure I'll be sending pictures if I go to the Luca thing. But I got to be honest with you. I don't expect that I'm going to the Luca thing. I want to. What are you going to do? All right, guys, I love you. Be good to each other. We'll see you back here tomorrow at noon. Like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. And if you're so inclined, drop a little something and help tip the show. We love you. Bye.